Hello, welcome. I am going to recite my poem, The Song of Liberty, from my poetry collection, 0 Points. This poem, Song of Liberty, which is one of my signature poems, it was basically published in a poetry anthology from Ireland and India. It created ripples over there regarding body politics and the position of women in South Asia. Later on, in 2019, this poem was republished in my poetry book, 0 Points. I am going to recite the poem for you. The Song of Liberty. Yes, I didn't have the vagina, a mother and a lover, though I had been, until I became this vagina having, vagina speaking woman, until I re-examined my existence with the vagina as a metaphor with an understated brilliance, until I went days, weeks, months, years without ever viewing it or knowing its existence there. Mother taught me about its invisibility. Sister taught me how to place a pad down there. Yes, there, whispering. Once I menstruated, and I turned from a small girl to a gentle lady. Of course, not thinking of it, the vagina, without ever looking at it. They thought they were politically correct about it, the vagina. It's your dignity, girl. I was truly, gently worried about this dignity of mine, whom I can never see, but others can. Seeing the vagina, though it's such a relative, many-pronged act. I had no sentiment bond with it, the vagina. It was just there, down there. Like a vault, it was a room I never visited. The dark room of the mind, closed for convenience. Other parts of my body echoed each other, flooded into each other, but the vagina was just a functional vacuity, arbitrarily sucking air as there was nothing else to suck. It was the connoisseur, like a black animal down there. Then they made me the seafarer among the seafarers, like all married women, and wished him to be the vast sea. Now I was a married girl, after all, but as a Raymond, I was cast off that day, that night. Like skin, he tore me off with hunger, sweat, and thirst. Like I couldn't sojourn no longer. As I marched ahead, I left the wineries, an illimitable drop in a ceaseless ocean. My heart became a cellar, like a tree heavy laden with an ovary that I wanted to rock and offer him, as if it were my day of yielding crops in an unremembered time in the history of vagina tales. He grumbled, screamed about the cold, frigid, dry, lifeless woman, most uninviting, clogged, sexless, vaginaless. Nothing like the women he explored out there. He was the chaperone for many, never for me though. I asked him once if flaring my vagina on the operation table would stop him from looking for newer pastured grounds. That left my audacities black and bruised. But any spiky sharpness won't stick into me those nights because there was no vagina. He picked the parts of the body that he wanted. No lips, no none breasts. No neck, no nape, no cheeks, just the vagina, the dry like fig vagina. And got it swarming with a dark, hot, oily, greasy liquid got from the local sorcerer for rupees 2. That burned me there, down there. That spent away my soul. The black bite from the local sorcerer got the dry woman wet, bloody wet. For his convenience, the chastity belt broke again and again. Like that one I had read in 100 Years of Solitude. The black filament broke. The weaver looked into the unaveraged rag, scanned the room, and found naught. Nothing came out of nothing. He believed in killing the goose that laid the golden eggs, like the covetous man in the tale from Aesop's Fables. I was the way the nomads would be, vaginaless. Still, after being slaughtered, it lasted till mornings, on and on and on, till finally I was a skeleton, 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 skeleton. No smiling eyes, no chubby cheeks anymore. No more the tall that I was ugly. The ugly duckling, no more the Princess Charming. I was bruised and battered, not to be celebrated as a woman needs to be. Thin ribs, heavyweight tummy. I was his private shuttle, written by an unrecorded law. I was his. Anyway, my fortitude, silence, my melting eyes pissed him off, offended him, made him important more every night. Home became a blood-curdling place from where I wanted to flee, hard-hitting domestic slaps that came naturally to him, were a part of the game by now. The vagina game, the sadomasochist reveled in, corroborated facts with fiction. I wanted fortification, security, shelter for the vagina. The reiterated abuse was taking away my confidence. I had but a hurt, sad vagina. It was a bad luck borrow in my body that I wished to cast away. To be a vaginaless woman, it was my wish. Life would be then a different ball game altogether. I ended the marriage. The lifeless vagina played the strategy. My body politics. The never happy, never gratified, famished man did it. The vaginaless woman was cast off. Just that, I was pregnant. There was no blood no more on the petticoats and none on the white sheets. But blood was in my eyes. No one noticed it. They were happy that my vagina had stopped bleeding for long 9 months. I was home. I became a mother. Think of childbirth. When the vagina is not an edgy, erotic hovel yearning for coitus, pretty much it's an archaeological tunnel. Like Rameshwaram temple, think of the inside long corridors of the shrine, a sanctified bowl, the vagina, an appallingly fitting fit subway. With a baby besieged within the barriers, eager to be enlightened, to be free of the snare. The mother's vagina is like a Catholic, inflamed, throbbing heart, capable of suffering silently, ready to absorb and mend, ready for revolution. Expand, contract, expand, the forgiving vagina. With motherhood, with a forgiving vagina, I was home. No, I never had a home till that day. Until I was the mother of the 4 months old, till I met this man. Love, oh love. We went to meadows and precincts to revise that it is the inclination of the bee to pleat honey of the flower, but it's also the desire of the flower to revenue its honey to the bee. No one voiced this knowledge. It was dribbled into my ears. It's fine to have a vaginalist bonding with a man because you care, because you love. Love, love, love. The vaginalist love. But now that I had touched the mountain top, I initiated to climb, as if I was longing to bring forth honeyed harmony from chaotic echoes. The vagina game again. The body politics. Context was all. The body in full swing, maturing to mellow fruitfulness, desiring lips and blooming breasts. The body was perceptive of its heritage one day and of its rightful needs. The vagina song was sung. I cannot be deceived any more. Denial was, after all, the worst form of sexless and sexual violence. My flame and smoke started offending the wind, burdened the clouds. Have you ever overheard of this woman who was plowing the soil for ancestries and by mistake found a paragon? A hidden treasure? Yes, that woman was me. Then, one day, the vagina question, the vagina quest, their dialogue with the hidden treasure, debates, more debates. The man could have never imagined his woman conjuring up sexual pleasure. He couldn't stand a rejuvenated, no-nonsense, blistering, exultant vagina. Depth-hungry vagina, benevolence-famished vagina, silent yet free vagina, screaming for orgasms vagina. Desiring to desire more vagina. Lady, dare to call yourself a slut, he told me so matter-of-factly. The saga ended one day. It had to. Of course it had to. The vaginalist love had to. I was thinking someone would come someday to pick out a way for me, to bounce me back with orgasms. Though I hadn't seen ever the obscure enigmatic foreplay, I hadn't had no erect nipples, no wetness, no moaning from my melodious voice. Context was all. The immense, uncanny, shocking sounds of men was all. Body politics was all. Ages and ages passed. Time flew like fine sand in the hourglass. The woman went into Paris, but not into emptiness. And then came joy, once in the city of joy. I asked the eternal question to him, "Oh dear, speak to me of the vagina truth." Are mental orgasms any different from the physical ones? The veracity of reaching the soul through the body, is it an art? Tell me the truth. Is an orgasm elusive for me? Am I asking for too much? And he replied, benevolent, oh, you beautiful woman. Vagina song is the song of liberty. Vagina song is the song of liberty. Let me celebrate your body. Let me adore you, O lady. Though it's not complete sovereignty, it's the blooming of your aspiration, yet it's not the pod. It's the gravity crying into a loftiness through mourning, but it's neither bottomless or light, nor it is opaque. It is imprisoned somewhere in the mind. The vagina, yes, it is in the mind. It won't speak. Unless the cosmos of the body and mind are embraced as an organic whole, and unless the soul is engaged, the vagina won't speak. Sing the song of vagina, of entirety, flow within the fountain of being. After all, it's the basic of an ecstatic soul in an euphoric body. Asking for an orgasm, you are no slut. No ignominy to desire orgasms, no blasphemy it is, oh my lady. I felt beautiful in his hands. Wet and turned on, I felt like the dark marble statue on the body of the Konark, delicate and delicious. I comprehended he was my unanticipated, unpredicted, politically inappropriate redemption. Yes, the moon of a woman has its cloistered morphology oozing from some cryptic veiled chunk of the form. With moans from my private self, I overwhelmed my public self. A silent woman suddenly singing the wild song. I caught the home of the moans, the vagina. Like the neurosurgeon finds where exactly the polyps are in the operation theatre. Again, the vagina game got suffocating inevitably when rest other social games crept in one day. It had to. Of course, it had to. Well, this vagina tale is not about me per se. It's about an era and a domicile where vaginas have no espousals, homeless and homebound vaginas. These days, at leisure, I ponder over the vaginas of women folk, grown-up women, fledgling women, lesbians, teachers, friends, foes, sex workers, Brahmakumaris, homemakers, nuns, married women and transgenders. I feel, yes, that's true. Women speak with their body. It's like a therapy. Writing this poem of precluding evil mess happening to women who aren't vagina conscious. A sisterhood poem it is. The vagina bonding poem. It's like addressing the torment intangibly in quietness forever, finding a way to manifest. Women do not feel like dirt, being browbeaten if ever. And if it is a rape, fight fit, while asking Aaron Lee to task, taking Aaron Lee to task, and the patriarchal thought, life is like a rape. If we cannot resist it, split the legs and enjoy it. No. Woman, let the conviction within my credence sing to the oracle in your oracle. Desire, drink, but let no vagina game drink you for sure. No feminist thought it is. I loathe to impose standards of feminism and gender justice on a fantasy. I would rather celebrate the strength and intricacy of women in playing the vagina game as the game of power. The body politics. No black and white game for me, please. Give me all shades of grey, of acceptance without judgment. Because vagina conscious, I am convinced of my own worth. In your journey from girl child to teenager to adult, let the passion within your depth spare the truth. Reject the inkling to stay within the confines of gender stereotypes. Customize your aptitude with your tiny little sword, the vagina. Let it be no counter discourse of the penis as the sword. Do this, dare do this, while managing to look like, feel like an Amazonian sizzled dream. Negotiate your life voice with the vagina truth. Thank you.